On October 22nd, 2022, shortly after 10 a.m., a chilling and horrifying incident unfolded at the Methodist Dallas Medical Center in Texas. It was a day that would forever stay in the memories of those who witnessed this horrific scene. This is the shocking case of Nesto Hernandez, a 30-year-old man whose actions would shatter lives and leave a community in shock. To truly understand the events of that fateful day, we must delve into Nesto Hernandez's troubled past. Born in Dallas, Texas in 1992, Nesto's journey was far from ordinary. He attended W.T. White High School, but it was evident that education wasn't his chosen path. Instead, he seemed to choose a life of crime. In May 2011, Nesto faced his first run-in with the law, charged with burglary of a motor vehicle, a sign of things to come. Later that year in December, Nesto and a friend committed a violent armed robbery, leading to his arrest. The charges stacked against him included aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, aggravated robbery, possession of a controlled substance, and unlawful possession of a firearm by a felon. Despite the gravity of his crimes, Nesto managed to secure a plea deal, serving a 2-year prison sentence in exchange for a guilty plea. Little did anyone know that this would be just the beginning of his criminal journey. In 2014, Nesto began dating Selena Villatoro, and their relationship would quickly become an unstable mixture of chaos and criminal activity. Together, they seemed to fuel each other's destructive tendencies. Selena, a self-proclaimed gangster chick, and Nesto, who was already on a dark path that led to substance abuse and unlawful deeds. Their relationship resembled a modern-day Bonnie and Clyde, but unfortunately leading to a tragic end. The breaking point arrived in January 2015 when Nesto and Selena attacked a woman, violently assaulting her and robbing her of her possessions. Arrested that same day, they faced charges of aggravated assault. Both were sentenced to prison, Nesto for 8 years and Selena for 5. Despite his violent history and multiple parole breaches, authorities believed in his potential for rehabilitation. In early 2021, Nesto was released on parole again, this time with an ankle monitor and strict reporting requirements. However, in March 2021, Nesto was arrested yet again, this time following a minor accident investigation. He was returned to prison, only to be released a month later in April 2021. Shockingly, Nesto managed to cut off his ankle monitor and went into hiding. 3 months later, in June 2021, while police were investigating a separate drug case in an apartment complex, an undercover officer spotted a man who resembled Nesto. This critical sighting led to his eventual arrest. Fast forward to October 21st, 2022, Selena Villatoro went into labor and Nesto rushed her to the hospital. Their first child was born, a moment that should have been filled with joy and hope. Nesto, notifying his parole officer of the birth, obtained permission to visit Selena and their newborn son the following morning. On Saturday, October 22nd, 2022, Nesto was up early, texting Selena to inquire about their baby's well-being. However, his morning with alcohol-fueled paranoia. By around 10:20 a.m., Nesto arrived at the Methodist Dallas Medical Center, beer in hand, on a mission driven by sinister intentions. Nesto's arrival at the hospital would set in motion a terrifying series of events that would leave a lasting scar on everyone involved. Confused and intoxicated, he initially entered the wrong room, mistaking another new mother for Selena. But it was when he reached Selena's room that the nightmare began. Accusing Selena of infidelity, Nesto searched the room, growing increasingly agitated. In a horrifying turn of events, he drew a handgun and started beating Selena with it. The hospital staff, upon hearing the screams, walked into a deadly situation. As the chaos rose, Nestor opened fire, tragically killing 2 healthcare workers. It was evident that he had more innocent victims in his hands. As Nestor prepared for what seemed like a mass shooting, the hospital staff and patients found themselves in a nightmare. But in the middle of chaos, there was a ray of hope. Sergeant Robert Rangel, attending to another matter nearby, heard the gunshots and immediately understood the gravity of the situation. Sergeant Rangel sprang into action, confronting Nestor just as he was about to exit the room. In a daring move, he fired a shot that wounded Nestor in the leg, forcing him back into the room. A tense situation rose, with the lives of innocent people hanging in the balance. As tension increased, Sergeant Rangel calmly negotiated with Nestor, urging him to surrender. It was a high-stakes moment, and the entire hospital held its breath. For those who had witnessed the horrors just moments before, this was their only chance at survival. Eventually, Nesto Hernandez made the fateful decision to surrender. He emerged from the room, his hands raised in surrender, ending the nightmare that had unfolded in the maternity ward. Nesto Hernandez now awaits trial, facing the possibility of life in prison or even the death penalty.